He's pushing for an engagement, not the
Hey
best.
guys,
If there was knowledge
He's out.
for them,
He just got a crack.
there it is.
The
Yeah, I was gonna
World
say,
Cup.
if there's knowledge for another player, they see the cracks in the
Yeah,
wall.
let's see this.
It's a no-brainer to engage that.
And he missed top 5. He got knocked. He was the one to go down for outside of top 5. And now the plays from Super on the low ground. Finds one, drops on the other player. Brilliant. Super all of a sudden picks up 3 elims, gets himself into the top 5, and is making plays for him and Pablo. This has now turned into a 14-point match for them. What else can he do, though? It's a 2v1v1, and we know that Gamers Origin Duo is still up on that high ground. They haven't given it up. They're going to start working top down now. They're still
that was
up.
a good shot.
54 crack, but Supra has the other player on top of him, and Danger is the one to pick it up. Now it's a 2v1. Can they close it out? They need every point possible. Again, it's all about top 4. You need the victory royales for the tiebreakers. You need every elimination. You need every point. And Not Bad Sniper is trying to make it happen from that low ground miracle run to taking the high ground.
Wait a second, guys. Sorry.
Doing everything he can, but this 1v2 is so tense. You have Daedra and Miz on the right side. You can see Not Bad Sniper in the wide on the left. As the tracking across gets the edit, tries to trade his shot down, is getting lower on builds. He's dropping down now. He gets dropped down, and they take him out. No explosives coming out from the high ground. Miz and Daedra clean it up. 18-point performance, bumping him up to 37 total.
If Not Bad Sniper had the RPG loaded, if he had ammunition, both were exposed, looking like they had essentially no builds. They were just trying to free fire at whatever was built above. That could have been such a big swing at the last second. Sadly, did not happen that way. Quite a bit of pressure applied and not even able to get a mini off. It looked like he was trying to move his way along the pre-built. Just couldn't get ahead of it. So duo from the stream in the back over there. Go from Loot Boy right up front.
Yeah, the 4th place
right here. Okay, guys. We have everything fixed.
Cemented their spot at NYC, but also playing for a portion of that $1 million prize pool, trying to get whatever money they can. Do have some ballers safely hanging out in there as we hop on board, and then looks like only Scram has one. Mexi going to use that new Shadow Bomb for the rotation.
They got rotation there. I think Scram just bumped into Mexi while they were moving.
Yeah, you know, a little
popped them head.
Little friendly.
It's a nudge, a little friendly nudge. Yeah. Hey, go on, bud. Mexi opening the door for his duo there. Gonna box this baller up. No reason to put yourself out there too far. Gonna try and build another layer over. It does exactly that. And a free tree farm, not bad. 123 build so far. Looks like he is probably already on max wood. His build count was not going up. But a good share there.
Yesterday, Solary Kinstar was doing good.
You do see the campfire going off, kind of a signal flare there. I'm curious if anybody's going to see that and try and take shots, especially if there's an RPG and a heavy sniper around. That's saying, hey, please, yep, there you go. Immediately applying pressure. They do see the campfire. No reason to not throw a stink in there.
Too. Got ticks on both those.
Damn, he just got lazy.
Chase move going down, and that's just illegal
Finish
over there as well. Scram cleaning that one up. You have Vitality Keyless going down to saving. Provoke and Majin were just over in that little kind of complex as well. Ludra gets cleaned up as well, but that was not their knock. You see T-Chubb, the solo qualifier, also getting picked up and converted on by Lox and Allen, as again, we're not even inside that top 15. Circle 5 is just closing. We have Nairo and Aqua over there. Actually, Nairo and Aqua, the first place qualifiers from yesterday, trying to carry it over. The stream duo sitting on 4 elims right now. Heavy sniper, rift to go, legendary pump, everything you could ask for if you wanted to get a little aggro. The rift means you can hold late on your rotations, look for fights, and you have kind of a get out of jail free card, at least for a circle or 2 before it gets a little too tight.
Quite a bit of gunfire.
Well, AFK.
Stampede going on around them right now. They do have a couple duos. Looks like 3 different teams that are very close by over here. They're looking across. They are kind of on the forefront of the circle. Big shot there. Bato finds Booth through the wall, and they're both going to just try and basically laser this wall down. They do not want that duo to get that pickup. And there it is. Finishes the elimination. Picking up another point there, putting them at 35 total. There's still 2 teams in that direction, but at this point with the circle moving, they don't have to worry about it too much. They can start watching for other players rotating on the outside. You have Mech and another player rotating across the top there, the Shadow Bomb and the launch pad. Scram and Maxi from Loot Boy still hanging out in this box. They were kind of in one of the more interesting positions as they were kind of smack dab in the middle of the safe zone. They weren't at ultimate high or low ground. They're just kind of in the middle, but they were able to pick up quite a few eliminations just taking shots, and they were unpressured from anybody else, which surprises me because as soon as you see a box out in the open, it's smack dab in the middle, there's quite a few angles on it, you know they're picking up elims. There's no reason that the high ground players especially would not take shots there, and they made their way through without being challenged.
So largely that was because of the angle of the zone. The zone was moving down and away, so they didn't quite have line of sight onto where Mexi and Scram had been posted up. So then when the rotation came out, they were able to move along it. But you see Nairo is able to pick up Husky. Illegal does pick up Nat, so Illegal is able to then get the conversion and get the point going down there as we get closer to the top 15. Those were two of the duos who were pinned against the side of the storm. You can see Scram trying to double back, get whatever materials he can, trying to be as efficient as possible. Gets exposed on the backside, and that's Oblivion, making sure he drops the stink bomb on top of it, not letting Nymac get over to it, and then he pops the shadow bomb, just saying, whoops, excuse me, don't mind if I do. Utilizing that wall hop to be a nice little ninja, and he's over on the backside of the storm with the siphon onto Oblivion to be back at 100-100. You want to know what a qualified player looks like for the World Cup?
Right there.
Go watch that. And
Right
again, you can check this game out. You can look at Scram and Mexi. Guaranteed they're up there on the leaderboard. Check out the match history. You can go and view it. Watch their rotations. Learn a lot. As we get closer to that top 15, Mert does pick up the knock. He doesn't quite get the conversion yet as Stuffs does go down. Another player from back. Another knock from Mert, but still not into that top 15 as Nairo converts onto Nymac. That was Oblivion's partner, so into the top 15. Everyone gets 3 points for their trouble. Now it's about the elims and top 10 to the next threshold. Aqua and Nairo still picking up elims here. Mert gonna opt to pop the rift and try and retake high ground. Dives past ultimate and just goes to reset, knowing he can't challenge 1v2. Aqua gets cracked by Hunter's Hen, trying to see what he can do, and he does find it. So now Nairo will be alone. Leo Caddy picking up Skype as well. So Vato is alone as we get closer to that top 10. Scram dropping down, trying to do everything he can. Both him and Mexi up against it. Aqua does get converted on, so it's going to get close. Oh, and Scram catches him off guard, and that's into the top 10 as well.
Big point swing there, finds another elimination on rotation. 7 duos, 8 total players, and the duo from Loot Boy already qualified, but they're the only duo left at full in this match. A lot of players trying to make sure they have ownership of all the surfaces. Mexi sitting at 105, 2 eliminations.
And Just Illegal just picked up a triple.
Oh
What?
my gosh.
Where did that come from?
Potentially fall damage, something like that. We'll have to take a look. Or an RPG if there's a lot of players clustered, especially at this density level, would not surprise me. Scram getting 2 up top as well. Loot Boy, that duo dominating right now, even though they are on the low ground.
Oh, and it's Just Illegal.
He does get knocked.
He got him with the trap. This is Just Illegal, trying to put pressure onto this qualified duo. How good are you? Not good enough. Not meeting the Neo Rooch bar, unfortunately. And now you have a 1v1v1 as Mexi takes out. It's Leo Caddy in the top right. Scram, the already qualified player, in the bottom right, flanking out into the zone, going for the high ground take, and he takes it away. Double trap him off, and it doesn't quite fire, using the heavy snipe to immediately mitigate one of the traps, but does lose high ground. Now you have Nuji Naidu with Leo Caddy on the low ground, and Scram is just going to take it over, raining RPGs down from the high ground, forcing the players out of the storm as Leo Caddy gets another quick flank off to get around Naidu, but Scram
what a rocket.
finds the angle, and this should be it for the Loot Boy. He's just gonna cash in on his loot, say make it rain. I'm already going to New York City, but I'm in it for the money. Showing what he's about, trying to be one of the top 4 and just represent, getting the practice, but also getting a little bit of flex on in there, Lupo.
9 eliminations total there for Scram, and that last little engagement, that last set of engagements, dominated by the RPG. Late game, competitive Fortnite, we see there a great example of it. This fossil is ridiculous. A lot of building out across the river. But to take a little closer look at what's going on here, we got Golden Boy and I believe Zikamus Prime.
That's right. Thank you so much. And the Loot Boy duo, they're already going to New York, but yet they want people to know that they're there each and every week to take their money. Clearly, that is the approach that they're taking here. But we've had some, you mentioned, what was the phrase? Galaxy brain level plays from a lot of our EU players here. What do you got, Zeke?
Yeah, so guys, we're going to jump into some crazy clips, hopping first in with Raised by Kings Zaipan. And we kind of talk about qualifiers. These guys are the very best. Don't forget, these are the top 3,000 in the region going toe-to-toe for qualifying spots. Pan here, hopping right in with a just unbelievable jump shot there over on Precious. I like this a lot because he sees tracer fires being sent toward his teammate. He literally sends like 2 bullets over and picks up an elimination in the crossfire. Absolutely crazy. And these are things to look out for. You're watching players rotate late in the storm. You're just going to catch them off guard because they're so focused trying to get safety. Here specifically as well, no builds, and he's sitting there waiting. He knows these guys are going to try and make these late rotations, and he's just getting them left and right. Now we're going to take a look at Waynil here. It speaks for itself. Jump shots, he's got those. Now, if you're a baller and you're feeling a little safe, not today. Waynil saying, look, do not get comfortable with me because I promise you I'm going to punish you, and that's exactly what it takes to make sure ballers are not rolling around freely. This was crazy. Waynil drops to 10 HP. 1 elimination, 1 on his right, boom.
Wow.
Immediately back topped off. He was down to 10 HP. Anyone could have breathed on him and he would have been knocked down. It did not matter. Now, not bad sniper. Maybe not that bad of a sniper, but great with shotgun in these close quarter fights. Look at him. Just going off, popping people left and right. One more here as they thought they were safe, trying to play a little bit of Loot Goblin, just like Sundown says. Do not do that, friends. You got to respect everyone else around you. Supra, this is the Galaxy brain. He has builds, 60 builds, and he sat behind the tree because no one, if you're moving around in these late game situations, you're not thinking, okay, there's no builds there. There's not, of course there's no one there. If there's someone there, they're trying to keep themselves safe and protected. And just watch, because of that, he's just literally running around, terrorizing the entire lobby off of just that one moment where in every situation you look around saying, where are the 1x1s? There's a guy there. That tree, there's no one, I'm gonna walk over here. It's safe, right? Oh God. It's crazy. Supra, Galaxy.
Now we know Zeke's, impression when he ended up getting caught.
That is how it works.
That's how when I scare you.
My keyboard, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's it. Okay,
yeah.
that makes a lot of sense. Yes, though, great plays there, and I said it yesterday, and I stand by it. This is the most competitive region that we've seen. The players here are bringing it. The games have just been incredible, and we're just going to continue to see this week in and week out. But for now, though, let's actually take a gander at the standings and where we are right now with our check-in. So no surprise here that Mexi and Scram are at the top. 62 points. They have 5 games remaining, so half of their games have been played. 1 victory royale. And then looking down the rest of the list, there's Pan and Ritz, who you had mentioned before. Familiar names as well, such as Benji Fishy and Mr. Savage, who have already qualified. They're looking to get themselves some cash here this time around. And then you got the Solary players up at 3rd place as well. Good players across the board. Not done yet, Zeke. But as it currently stands, if, let's say, Mexi and Scram do happen to win this week, the standings will go, or I should say the qualification would go to the team below them, correct?
Correct. That's right. And we kind of talk about this, man, and we can't harp it enough. This is finals. This is a big opportunity for a lot of these players, putting everything on the line to try and qualify for finals.
Yeah.
A lot of those, if you were paying attention to the standings, you saw there's a lot of players that have plenty of games left. In 2nd place, DRG and his duo partner only have 3 games left. So they've had a little bit of a rough start. Maybe those points are enough to keep them where they are. Maybe not. We'll have to see. But, guys, we still have more action to get into.
That's very true. Don't forget, yesterday's games, the cutoff point was 61 points. And I believe Sundown said 3 victory royales, or 2 victory royales. Thank you, Sundown. Appreciate you, bud. So, yes, it just goes to show the competition level in this region is intense. Now, that was yesterday. Today is a whole new day. But for now, we're going to jump right back into the EU action with Sundown and Dr. Lupo.
Thank you so much, Golden Boy. And a couple of things I want to talk about on that leaderboard. First, Airwalks and Nikov. Airwalks, the first 2 weeks getting pushed out in the last match, and in week 2, didn't get a final QQ'd for 2.5 minutes, and unfortunately lost the spot in that very last match. Now currently up there in 3rd place. That consistency is ridiculous, but they need to carry it through. They always open up very strong. The back half of their games have to be as strong. If you want to be in the top 4, you have to clutch up. You can't rely on somebody else to put you there. We've seen that happen. T-Chubb and Clicks both got pushed way down the standings when they were forced to wait the matches at the end. Take destiny in your own hands. Make it happen yourselves.
Solary has kind of a history, in my opinion, of generating extremely good players. Not only Airwalks, Nika, Kinstar, and I believe I'm spacing.
Hunter.
Yeah, Hunter. There you go. All four. I've watched all four of those players play, and they are absolutely ruthless, extremely accurate, strategies on point. But like you said, late game, the last half, the back half of their matches need to be just as good as the first half. I'm hoping we can see quite a bit of that today from them.
Yeah, and also shoutouts to Lecce.
There you go.
Was the Hunter over there. I think he might have just got knocked, or the player next to him got knocked, but Lecce was also almost the first controller player to qualify. Again, one of the heartbreakers, got pushed out in that very last match, was forced to wait because it got wrapped up his 10 matches early on, and instead Unknown Army beat him to the punch for being the first controller player to New York City. But now him and Devil sitting on 34 points, trying to do their best to challenge up there. It's gonna take a very big game in order to get into that top 4. Again, hyper competitive.
This rotation going west. Just a second here, 7 seconds until the move begins. They're gonna have to go west across the soccer field area.
I
just past tilted.
believe, I mean, this is Europe. We're going past the football pitch here.
So my apologies.
Sorry, lad. I know it's a wee bit difficult.
That is actually extremely true, and now I'm embarrassed. Thanks. Ooh, a little shot there on the toe. Unless she finds that elimination, does have the launch pad in case things are a little too tight here towards the end. Build out 132 builds. There's the launch. Early rotation is at least as early as they could, just because of the pressure, looking for those elims on the move. A couple players flying in, extremely low HP. Still a handful of ballers still in here. And the materials here, all this structure being built out already means there are a lot of opportunities just to move along the edges of them. You don't have to put yourself out too exposed in the open, but if you are flying in like here, we find Kinstar going to land on top of another player's structure, quickly walling, spinning, and jumping up another floor. Those pyramids, you can jump up one floor and build a floor right underneath you, catch yourself. DMSec goes down Kinstar, picking up a second elimination. Hunter is out, like you said, 40 points total, sitting on a slurp at full HP and full shield, so that's a little buffer just in case things get hairy. Finds some tags through an open window as that player is forced to build against the storm, does not make it out. You have Clark knocked down, bottom middle does get eliminated. Hupek as well from DBI is knocked on the rotation here. You've got Fluttermoy still in a baller, another name we've seen a ton. Ameson's right there. Those two
His duo, yep.
tagged together. 45 points here. A shadow bomb, one rift in case cannot find a way through. 77 builds, so I'm not too worried. Looking for a shot there, can't quite pick it off. Goes for the double, the two-layer edit. Finds Robin through that quick little window there. You have to be careful when you're moving around the outside of layers. If you know that there's a player inside and you don't have time to go for the wall replace, at least a ramp to keep your defenses up in the direction of a potential window edit would have saved him right there.
And this is super interesting because Fletter and Amesons have been split for the entire match. Fletter had a baller up until this very last rotation, and Amesons didn't. So Amesons was then utilizing the Rift and the Shadow Bombs to just rotate together, but both were able to make it in the top 15, and now they're going to start working back together, looking to own the space around them and then get whatever edit picks they can, not taking straight up fights and trying to work these 2v2s, but instead just trying to play spoiler, find people for elims. But now they've worked back together all that time apart, and the duo is rejoined. This is what it takes to be one of the best of the best. You see them on 49 points, and Keenstar gets abused, caught with his back at the storm. Devil also picks up another elim, and we're into the top 10. 16 players remaining, 10 duos.
Chug in the inventory. Flutter may not have an opportunity to use that towards the end of this game as things start to get a little too tight here. You don't even have the 15 seconds. Young CGA does go down on the outside. Ameson looking to pick up another one. 40 damage in the back. Pushing up above, trying to get high ground and an edit. Maybe catches a baller inside a box. An opportunity to potentially break that. Try and get another elim. Doesn't go for it.
Just going to walk past him. He's more concerned about himself. Doesn't want to waste the time. Doesn't want to deal with knocking that player out as Flutter does get picked up, and so does Lecce. So now there's only one duo remaining. Otherwise, it's a solo game from here on out. Trying to find where that duo is. Looks like that's Monkey and oh no, it's Line Cut and Sleverus on that middle tarp. You have Shelter on the high ground. Swift, Amesons, Devil, Patsy, and Prago all working down the mid tarp as Line Cut gets taken down. So it's a solo match, baby. 8 players remaining, 8 duos remaining as Shelter picks up Swift. Prago, no builds left on the low ground. Trying to find the player who popped the Shadow Bomb. You can see him briefly as he's jumping around. Prago trying to track him. Knows the player's going to have to pop out eventually. Instead,
Shelter
switches
uses the shadow bomb
targets.
drop in
He
from all
does.
the way to the top.
It's in your top right. Shelter in the top right. Prago in the bottom right as Patsy gets picked up by Aimson. Shelter picks up Juzri. Now we're into the top 3. Prago picks up Aimson. Shelter
Oh my
takes it all out. You want to know how to utilize the shadow bomb? Shelter shows you right there from high ground to the low ground. 8 elims himself, 2 for his duo. 20-point match, Lupo.
He had the high ground, but potentially was challenged a number of times. Took multiple eliminations on the way down. The shadow bomb to drop in and just catch everybody off guard. Absolutely ridiculous. Very intelligent play there right at the end. Pushing into the next match. You have to realize at the end here, as we're going through these matches, if you're watching from home, we are jumping in on replay files from basically focused around the end game. Once we get to the 50-50 circle, which we're about to cut to in about 12 seconds, once this one closes, these are where, these kind of matches, this is where everything starts to get hairy. We have 25 duos remaining, 46 players in a circle of this size. Sorry, 44 players, circle of this size. I think they can hear me. They just start counting down for us. Things are, this is kind of where a majority of the crazy engagements, the rotations, the very important late game gameplay happens. And you have to realize too, with New York City on the line at this point, Europe has 4 duo slots. Every single point counts, every single rotation counts, and if you make mistakes, you're going to get punished in lobbies like this.
You will absolutely get punished, but right now you have Nairo and Aqua sitting on 2 Rift-to-Goes, and a Launchpad does have the big pot, but only has the minigun in terms of wall pressure, does have a little bit of the spin-up time, tossing a nice little emote out there to let people know he's ready to dance, he's ready to party, he's ready to go. This rotation is about to take off, and as you can see in the bottom right, there's a lot of duos stacked on top of him. He is looking for whatever picks he can, constantly editing the sides, checking up, and they're just going to launch pad out, not going to challenge above them, instead rotating into the zone as early as possible.
Early movement, this 50-50 is big. You have an opportunity to land right here. He's going to build up, try and layer as much ownership as Aqua can on his own builds. Now you look at this, immediately pop up a window, start to look for shots that can potentially take the coordination. He's actually getting damage just a little bit down to 168. They're looking for people that can take shots at that corner right there, exposed in the open.
He just edited the
and Frenzy actually fell inside the box as Aqua had the top open. Doesn't work it out though. Aqua does pick up that elimination.
I honestly thought that was his duo that he was like letting in for a second. Like it took me a half second,
well.
right? It looked almost too perfectly timed for that to be an opposing player. The second the edit came out, he came flying in, and Aqua was like, oh, okay, delivery? And luckily, having enough heavy pots to be able to top back off. So the Elim, hey, every point matters. They're up to 48.
2 full shields here in Nyrox's inventory. 1 still in Aqua's. Still a Rift.
Wait. Didn't Aqua have 2 Rift-to-Goes? Nairo has 1?
Indeed.
So they're sitting on...
They have so much mobility right now.
And still 2 big pellets. Oh my lord. Okay. They're and sitting on 3 elims. This is huge. Nairo and Aqua need to convert on this game. When we talk about
Sorry guys,
getting all
I'm
the
back.
resources, I know it's a battle royale game. There is inherently some randomness based off of your loot, based on what you're able to find. The best players find ways to mitigate that. But sometimes all the cards go in your favor and you get something like this. You have to come out on maximum points in a game like this.
3 elims to this duo right now, 48 points. They do find a player on the outside, Big Brain times 8, not Big Brain enough. Gets knocked at the edge of the storm. That's going to easy convert into elimination. Yeah, down all the way down to the bottom. You see him looking up, trying to take some shots at players.
What I like about the scrims, or not the scrims, these aren't scrims, but these tourneys, the thing I like about them is like they all have like huge final circles, really competitive. I like to see like how the pros make decisions. Look, you see that was a good decision that he just did because you hit him. Like, you see how they make the decisions and how they come to use. That was a good play.
Another elim, a little bit of an upgrade in there, plus a ton of ammo. And look, a Rift to
Hey
go.
Sean Cummins, how you doing?
If needed, they're already inside the safe zone for the next rotation. Things aren't looking too bad here, at least close enough that it's not going to be a big deal.
22 duos remaining now, and Tripper also was able to pick that up because he no-scope heavy snipe.
Hold up.
Swapping right away through his edit, going to pop the Rift to go. Grab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players up into the sky. Still have 2 ballers left, 3 ballers left on the low ground. You see everyone utilizing their rifts, utilizing whatever rotation they can. Honestly, when you see them on the backside and shots aren't being taken, more often than not, it's a panic saying, hey, we gotta go. Let other people deal with this, but MCE BS, OricH, and Andalex, they were super high up that leaderboard yesterday in the second place. Now 43 points as they pick up Joye, but still not into the placement as Circle 7 is closing, Lupo. 17 duos remaining. This lobby is about to drop, so keep an eye on that top left-hand corner because names are going to be populating.
2 more duos need to go down, and then everybody picks up that first set of placement points. 3 points there. Jake from Method. We want to cross in front of everybody else.
Wow, this is a huge circle. The rotations. Oh, and the stream is lagging. That's great.
Is Daedra team we watched.
Let me refresh so I can get to live. How it's doing. Please don't be an ad. Please, 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 please. No ad. Okay.
Players is carrying the goodies that he needs. He's going to try and look for it. A full shield still in his inventory. The duo from Symmetric blob down to basically 1 shot. Tully's still full. As I say that, beamed down to 50 HP. Down here at the bottom, Tripper all by himself, 62.
Oh, damn! Oh, that was
gets the knockdown.
nice.
Gonna convert that to
that was good. That was good.
A few builds. Still has 2 minutes.
That was a good save.
Ahead of the storm.
Still has the heavy snipe as well. The player from Singularity trying to do everything.
Okay,
he
now
can
he's okay. This short
gets enough space to be able to pop some of the minis. Gets his reload off. Knows he has a heavy sniper now. He's looking for eliminations. Gets on the far side of the circle. Covers himself with the floor right away. Great catch there. As we're now into the top 10, and we talked about it before. The 3 Rift to goes. We better see you on high ground. You have Nairo and Aqua up there. Nairo in your top right. You do have Tripper on the bottom right. 56 and 63 points respectively.
Damn.
These are 2 of our contenders for those 4 spots going at it, and this is a
Aqua's not doing bad. He has like a lot of mats. Aqua has like heals, mats, and loot. He's set.
That minigun, trying to find whatever space he can. Instead, going to edit himself down. Tripper getting the heavy snipe. Reload off. Looking to
Tripper
punch through.
can like third party. Get him.
To not punch through. Knows
it's not his wall yesterday.
Nice.
That was a good shot. That was a really good shot.
Even better from Aqua as well. Putting on a display.
Now he didn't get much more mats.
2. The duo
nice. He
of
just
Aqua and on the high ground throws out a little bit of the default dance to say, come and get it. Let's go. Everyone has everything you could possibly want in this case, except Max. Nothing for Tripper.
Making the plays.
Oh! Gets the knockdown on 1, but immediate catch, and this should be easy from Aqua and Nairo. They should be able to close it out unless Tripper can do something incredible.
Aqua has
nah, Tripper is not going to do anything.
Nairo's almost got ticked out. Nairo got drilled while he was trying to peek. If Tripper gets the siphon, he might have the change. Nairo does get ticked out. He needs to find the siphon.
No!
Connection. Aqua cleans it up from the high ground. Well done for them there, pushing them up to 63 points. But
nice. That was good from Aqua. They were set. Aqua was set for the win.
As well, unfortunately unable to convert on the elimination, but both of those teams putting on a clinic.
So now imagine a world where the siphon kicked in, pushes him back up another 50 HP, shots all the way up top, and potentially no catch. The fall damage elimination would have been absolutely.
The siphon would have been the difference.
I would have ran out of the studio.
I would have been left. Like we could have said, honestly, give him the spot. That's the better clutch. Just good. Well, not honestly, give him the spot. Competitive integrity, and these players need to earn it.
Don't worry, internet. He's joking. He's joking.
I'm just not very funny. We covered it. I know. I'm sorry. I try. It's honestly.
Good.
Says I'm not funny. Just so you're clear.
That was a good shot. That was a good shot.
Another elimination.
Teammates right there.
Decent loadout here, and we've seen a number of times in the past. No, maybe get a little repetitive about it, but man, that infantry rifle in accurate
that was a good shot.
Extremely
oh my god.
Seth and DRG both still hanging out there at the front of the zone.
Sorry.
Players spread out very open here, which means rotations are going to be potentially difficult. Exposed rotations if you don't have a movement mechanic. One of the scariest things I think in competitive Fortnite, because there are so many hungry players that will see you. They absolutely will see you. You will get shot at, which means you need to be ready to burn through every material that you do have. And if you don't have any, I wish you the best of luck. Hats off if you make it.
Well, I mean, that's when it genuinely, in my opinion, feels like it turns into a luck game. Is somebody turning and looking at me while I'm rotating? If so, I'm burning all of my mats.
Exactly.
If not, that's why you see players now opting to carry the shadow bombs, opting to carry the redeploys, because it minimizes your opportunity to end up in that situation. The best players in this game what they do is they minimize their ability to be put in bad situations, and then the best of the best, the Benji Fishies, the Mr. Savages, the Clixes, the Stompies, the players of the world who have already qualified, what they do is they minimize the times when they're at a disadvantage, and then any time another player makes a mistake, they capitalize on it. They're looking there with a rifle. They already have an edit held. They've put themselves in a cone. They're waiting with a heavy sniper. That's what separates the players who are in that top 01% from the players who are going to New York City.
Here's what I want to see right now. Vertrack sitting on 9 dynamite. Everybody's got to move in 26 seconds. It's time to start mixing it up and force people out of their builds. I want them to just start hucking those 9 dynamite. Yeet some players out of their builds as best they can, and here we go. A little combat.
So you saw what they actually did there. They split the shadow bombs right there. That way one would be able to have a singular shadow bomb. There's a second one sitting on the floor. They're going to pop it as they go to rotate, but it does eat up a spot. You can't pop it like a rift to go and then run away with it. So gonna have to make a decision, and it looks like he's gonna opt to drop his AR. They're both gonna pop their shadow bombs, and they're gonna go out. You need to confirm your edit, dog.
Oh, damn! Bro,
So bad.
oh my god, damn, I saw that. That sucks.
Vertrack does get knocked right there.
That sucks, bro. I would have been mad if I would have been like really mad, bro.
Coming out from Team Queso, all about Team Cheese. Hopefully you got some dairy-free ones up in there. I know, I apologize, it's not my choice. My stomach hates me. But
it's okay,
him and Potato doing their best to try and get the rotations in there now. Boyer also gets picked up by Orange. Benji Fishy in the lobby has Stompy, your favorite weapon, the minigun being primed for a second, but not going to be put into action.
Thank you, EU, for just taking advantage of such a lethal weapon. Applying pressure like you would not believe, but Prisionero dropping down here, 90 HP, a little bit of a storm tick there. Seth and DRG still have the ultimate high right now. Maybe challenge from Vortex, depends on how he wants to push. He's going to stay the same floor and just rotate across, blocking himself off as he moves. Ramp to defend, it looks like he dropped down 1 floor there. Seth and DRG have a chance looking up right now. We're 1 duo away from placement points, 16 right now with 26 players remaining.
Gabe, I really don't care.
25 players. 1 more duo needs to go down, and Seth and DRG are going to pick up another set of placement points here.
It's just like what I think about your stream sometimes, and you say you don't care. It's your stream.
So it's going to be a lot of edits, and hopefully Seth is able to connect, and Prisionero does convert onto Savage, so Benji is now a solo rider, but Savage and Benji have already qualified Seth, taking him down there as Blackso also gets picked up, but Blackso went down first, so the 3 points do go over to Benji Fishy and Mr. Savage. Now, DRG and Seth. DRG, the 15-year-old coming out from Belgium, has already qualified for the solos, looking to make it for the duos. He's up there on the leaderboard, sitting on 45 points, getting some shots down on the ballers. Has a really solid loadout, but no mobility, so they're going to be looking to hold this high ground for as long as possible.
You said previously Europe has a tendency to not allow ballers to last too long, and I think right there is absolute proof of that. DRG is seeing a chance to just take 3 shots at him and break
I really don't care, Gabe. And the
exactly
Twitch stream is just lagging.
The
Twitch stream.
He's waiting, baiting the shot, looks for it, gets an 84
bugged out.
there. He's looking for the follow through the second, and
Come on, bro.
move here in a second. A ton of traps going down. Ultimate high ground right now, and they're waiting for anybody that might say, hey, I want to drop in right there and see what I can do.
And we're into the top 10. The Team Queso duo did get picked up just inside of it, so they got those additional 2 points. Brasco looked like he was going to challenge, opted to back out. XOXO gets taken down, but now DRG is going to start working down because, again, did pick up a launch pad from one of the so does have top-down mobility now in a way to cancel out the fall damage as it gets another one. And we're into the top 5.
Gabe, I will see.
Picks up series, another duo who is in the top 5. We talked
I
about
will
it.
see.
These lobbies get super significant. If you can pick up an elim on somebody else in the top 5.
Oh, damn. That was a good kill. Oh my god, DRG's going off. Oh my god, no way, no way, no way, no way.
There's a reason you qualified for solos, but can you be good?
Oh my god, DRG's going off. Oh my god, DRG. Oh my god. Oh my god. Holy hell. Holy mother of Magna.
Seth and DRG versus Zuno and Marcus.
Oh my god.
DRG, I don't know if you saw that. He was on the same floor.
Bro, that was insane. DRG is insane.
Decided to build back up and take the high ground back with Seth just so they have a top down on everybody. But that was an absolute ridiculous showing there. DRG reading
Bro,
every opponent.
DRG is insane.
Way, picking up a handful of eliminations. Seth and DRG, though, have to stay on top and ahead of the Storm because, you know, 51 builds, 50 builds, a ton of healing. They do have Shadow Bombs for free rotation up if there's even a chance because Seth and DRG, they're going to keep
DRG has high ground, bro.
every step they take. They don't want to get necessarily
How many matches DRG has? Bro, spectate him.
If I'm the team on the low ground, keep Marcus in there, send Zeno out. No, they're sending
okay,
Zeno
DRG's
out.
just chilling now. DRG just went off, though. My God.
And try and get the med kit off. He's trying to pop it. He needs to get the spacing right. He needs 3 extra seconds. That's not going to be enough time. That med kit won't convert.
Zeno was taken is dead.
He finds the siphon. Zeno has to cancel it. Can't get the conversion over.
DRG
is hard. What I was going to say is Zeno should pop
DRG is a god.
But instead, Seth and DRG, they pull the trigger. They go down.
Wow, he deserves that. He deserves that win. He deserves it.
10 total with the victory route, 20 points.
At that point, with the size of the circle and how fast it's moving, like you said, he needed a full 3 seconds of usage time on that med kit to get ahead of the fact that he had 70 HP. It's ticking 10 a second. There's no way he's going to have it. The only option was Shadow Bomb and push. You look at hoping for a siphon maybe to pick it up, and that was the only chance he had. And tough situation in the moment. Those kind of calculations can sometimes get overwhelming. So I don't really blame him for that, but it is too bad.
Hello,
no push there.
To be fair, for me, honestly, my mouse would have slid off the side of my desk, my keyboard would
You
have
want to
fallen,
react
my hands
with
would have been
me
sweating,
on
and I wouldn't have made it to that end
Discord.
game anyway. So don't mind our criticism. We're just talking about when it's the best of the best, the 0.01%.
Hindsight's always
you need,
Oh,
you
good
need
snipe.
perfection.
Oh,
Just like
good
that shot
snipe.
coming out from Leo Katie, right way.
And the
Everview,
finish.
Lowell going down, and I mean, and again, we talk about the pace of this game. First of all, nearly 50% of the safe zone is unplayable right now as this rotation is going to come out. And the speed at which you can be eliminated in Fortnite at a competitive level is ridiculous.
With a circle like this, that means anybody that's already in the safe zone that is prepping to take shots, this might be the best chance
they have
they're gonna
ballers.
have the entire game to get eliminations because everyone's forced to one side. That being said, the block
Who is that
is in it, which means you have
There's
these
a block?
giant monolithic structures kind of providing cover for everybody on rotation. You have stuff built up right next to it. It's a free building zone, essentially. So it's going to be very situational here, but look at the density of players right smack dab in the middle of the screen. So many people are stacked up around this tree and beyond it.
Oh,
was almost
laser,
difficult to see
laser.
exactly
Oh,
where
aim
everybody
assist.
was there. Stompy, Chicken's still alive here.
The Schinken, the thin pancakes coming out there. The French call them crepes. The Americans call them really, really thin pancakes. And you know what?
I think we call them crepes sometimes too.
You know what? I call them really thin pancakes. But already
knock.
qualified in from week 2. Stompy also qualified in from week 1. So they're in it for the practice. They're in it for the money. And then they're in it also again for that flex. If you are just joining us, welcome. This is the Sunday finals of the Fortnite World Cup Online Open Qualifier Week 4. How these players are earning points. They're playing in a 3-hour window or 10 matches. Each match you can gain points by either getting in elimination 4, a point apiece. Top 15 gets you 3 points. If you get into the top 10, it's an additional 2. Top 5 is 2 more for a total of 7. The Victory Royale duo gets 3 for a grand total of 10 cumulative placement points. So, you know, maximum amount of points we see from a game. Somebody really pops off. Generally on Sundays, it's more towards the 20, maybe 25 range if somebody's really going off, but don't typically see more than that. Kenzie on 29 right now as we're about halfway through, a little past that in terms of the queues for the day, maybe an hour left. And shots coming out, great early rotation, misses the RPG, but will he be able to convert instead? Needs to cover up because the players are coming in fast.
And they just have held that edit for just a second for launch padding their way into
RPG through his window.
who opens a window and puts a campfire down and then doesn't close it? Pugga pays the price.
Facts, bro. That was just a bad
quite
move.
a few follow-up rockets still available there. 11 in the inventory.
That's like in the cartoons when the grandma puts a pie in the window and like the little smoke comes out. Exact same thing. Fortnite version of that right there.
Pugga was screaming to get rocketed.
Yeah, it's like, please put any form of explosive into this box. I don't want to play the game anymore.
Handful of players moving at the edge of the circle right now. Everybody kind of frantically pushing their way through each other's builds as well. Handful of rockets out here. 6
blow him up.
Inventory.
Dead.
Big shot there as the baller gets broken. Alpha goes down from dual media. Exalti Rob Adams and Falcon Lee looking to pick up another elimination, moving their way through. Ownership of all these surfaces super important. You see them closing off the edits behind as they move. For a second, it looked like Rob Adams was trying to move into Falcon Lee's build and could not quite get it.
Oh, he's dead.
So edited the door close.
Yeah.
Kinstar from Solary goes down.
Oh,
Kinstar's
dead. Rip. He did good yesterday. Yesterday,
Here we
Kinstar
go.
did good.
15 duos. Everybody that got knocked out before this pays the price. No placement points for you. Rocket down from the over to the duo.
Laser. Okay, dead.
Line cut on the edge. Looking for another one. The follow through.
Bro, got lasered.
More players are still there. Does you see the heal? Does.
Honestly, boogie bombs are kind of OP and competitive because
Great edit to get an angle, and instead the launchpad comes out and
didn't hit any one of them. They're kind of OP and competitive. If you hit someone with a boogie bomb, the opponent can't even do anything. Bro, he got him out of his baller.
Is going to go off into the storm, so that one's out of play as Darrow gets dropped outside of the top 10. Ryfly on TikTok does get to at least dance a little bit inside the top 10. Gets the additional 2 points. So now looking at the wide, you have King Cinder on the high ground, Priz in the last baller on the low ground, and it's a solo match from here on out, Lupo.
8 more players, 8 duos, 5 eliminations for Falcon Lee, sitting on 51 points, 27 builds, and a double pump loadout. That doesn't work the same way it used to, but can still be relatively effective if you don't want to waste the time trying to reload if you're in a very tight engagement. Trying to bait a shot, looks for it, and actually gets punished a little bit. Falcon Lee.
Good shot.
Just barely enough HP to survive that. Does follow through for the Siphon. 6 elims, only 11 builds.
That's why we need Siphon and pubs.
Pretty quickly here. Descent is extremely, extremely important right now. King Cinder does have the high ground over everybody.
Yeah,
Not
King
enough
Cinder
HP to sit inside the storm for too long, if that's what it comes
doesn't
down
have
to.
HP, so he won't really be able to survive
all the
by
way
himself.
at the bottom in a 1v1 with Yard. And Falcon Lee says, I want to be part of this as well. Pushing through the surfaces above, Blaster all the way down. Cinder still has the high ground on everybody. Falcon Lee gonna get baited potentially here. Cinder looks to the left and finds it. Cannot hit the shot in that moment. Cinder down to basically one shot at this point too. A 3-player battle royale, 1v1.
Falcon has no builds on the low ground. This is all about Yardine. Yardine should be able to just walk Falcon Lee around. He only has the 74 effective HP. He can just wait him out. He has to redeploy if he needs to drop down. But any exposure by Falcon Lee has to do something incredibly special here. And now Yardine should recognize this. Oh no, he's gonna walk back over builds. This could be something new. He gets 10 to work with. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Imagine finding something in this box rotating through.
With 24 to work with now. But now working through, we've talked about this before, as you have to punch through the metal, sometimes it's best to look for an AR. He finds the storm back, now he goes to challenge, and Yardine is just walling him off, using the HP advantage, securing the victory.
Yardine wins.
You know what?
He had good use of his resources.
Building is the difference. Yardine says, my 10 elims were already enough. Gems picking up the 2, walls him out, 22 points total. That's not too bad, right, Golden Boy?
Couldn't agree more. As Dr. Lupo says, Fortnite Battle Royale, the ultimate Battle Royale experience. That's the Dr. Lupo catchphrase right there, by the way. I got you, baby girl. All right, so great matches in the EU block, or our first EU block of the day. We got Zeke here once again. And, you know, speaking of experiences, we had some crazy matchups. We saw some familiar faces from yesterday as well, such as the Exaltive duo make their appearance here. So let's kind of run through what some of the clips you have here and big moments that we saw from our first block of EU games.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to talk about 3 things: viability, comfort, and straight up sprees. So here we go, starting off with Shelter. He finds an elimination. Now watch, he's going to pick up something very specifically. That's the Shadow Bomb. So we're going to wait here for just a moment. All day yesterday, we talked about the viability of this item and whether or not players were opting to pick it up, how they wanted to use it. Shelter right here is going to show us exactly how he wants to use it. Pops it, drops down. Keep in mind, this is a 6-second window where you are invisible. You cannot be seen. He's sitting here from above, watching the action. He knows someone's down below. The moment they try to come out, cracks that player, and then it's just textbook. He knows that Prago there also has to try and break out his builds to get into safety. Quick cleanup there.
You have to know,
indeed.
like, you have to know your game
about comfort for Aqua. That is the minigun. Watch as he's going to put this to so much work. He finds an elim here. He's going to do this 2 more times in 2 different ways. One, he's going to crack this player. He's going to fall in front. Boom, immediately mowed down. Now there's going to be another player that drops down who thinks they're safe, and that minigun is going to fracture the build, cause them to drop back down, back to the lobby for them. DRG.
Oh, DRG
Talking about
is-
freeze. Look no
He's
further.
insane.
This guy is a monster. So if you saw he
Bro,
jumped there, he
DRG is
went actually
insane.
to place the
Look at
floor.
this.
He was going to go for the edit play down. Thompson, though, said, I'm going to put the cone down. He's like, all right, I'm just going to be one step ahead of you and outplay you.
DRG
Here we
is
go.
insane.
Wall replace. Boom. One shot goes out.
Look at
Someone
that.
else decides, you know
He's
what, I'm going to try and
insane.
go toe-to-toe with him right here, right now. Not the case. And it happens an additional time to which DRG says, all right, I'm just going to go in the box. You know, this is the level we're playing at. If you want to make it to finals,
DRG is insane.
that is the level you have to be. And right now with Aqua sitting in second with Nyrox, I mean, they're feeling it.
Yeah, and so also another thing to bear in mind as well.
Oh my god, the stream. Lag. Yeah.
For one spot have dropped down, but they have 4 games remaining, which means that they could very well finish in the money, but it doesn't really matter for them because they're already going to go to New York City. And then it's about top 4. And as it currently stands, you got the Atlantis duo, you got Nyrox and Aqua, you got Provoked and Imagine, you also got Deader and Miz. These players all looking to try and make their way to New York.
And something we want to kind of talk about, let's break this down a little bit further. If you guys have been watching, you know exactly how we do this, and if this is your first time, we'll get you up to speed here. So something very important to take a look at is these games remaining, right?
DRG.
Right now, Atlantis, Kester, and Trippin, they're sitting at the top with 67 points, but they've played 9 games. That means they have 1 game left. Now, if we just go down the next, Aqua and Nyrox, they've played 7 games and already have 66 points. So they have a much larger window to work in, right? So let's say immediately Catcher and Tripper and jump into that last game and they get eliminated out the gate. That's it, their run is complete. That's not the case for the players in 2, 3, and 4th spot. Even coming down here, Aim Sons and Flutterboys, they have 62 points with 5 games remaining. In 5 games, they've gone 62 points.
They could do a lot with that. They could do a lot with that. And a lot of players, too, will look at the amount of games that you have left and think, well, maybe we don't need to play some of these games so that this way it kind of evens out our average a little bit better. But, you know, in the instance of the Atlantis duo, they only got 1 game remaining, 67 points. If they manage to hold on to top 4, that would be incredible. But it is going to be very difficult. But Zeke, thank you so much for the breakdown, my friend. Crazy stuff indeed. EU not done yet. We're going to have another block of games coming for you in just a little bit. It's a 5-minute break, so don't go anywhere. And when we return, more EU Fortnite.
5-minute break. Oh, Benji Fishy! My boy! But I like Benji Fishy and Mr. Savage Jam. I think they're gonna do like really good in the World Cup. What the heck is that glitch skin? Bro, it's Benji Fishy, man. Benji Fishy and Mr. Savage Jam are like a really good duo. I think they might win. I think they might win the World Cup. They have like a really good chance. Oh, how'd that not hit him? They're so fast at a place. Where Benji Fishy and Mr. Savage Jam. It's like insane though. Nice. So Mr. Savage. No! Okay, Benji Fishy does not have many mats. Oh, that's a good one. Good limb. Fight the low ground. Yeah, he's dead. Oh my god, Savage and Benji, they're insane. Oh, damn. I swear to God. No way. He dead? Damn! Damn, son. Oh. Oh my god. E.
Welcome back, Fortnite fam, to coverage of the Fortnite World Cup Online Open. We're here, week 4, means we're back with duos. Now, guys, I know what you want. That is games. We're not going to mince words. We're not going to stall like I'm doing right now. We're going to get in these games in just a moment. I'm just kidding. Let's get into the games. Monster, D, G, B, Boricua, boys!
Always coming out with something new there, Zeke.
Oh, my word. All right, well, what's up, everybody? So we have the EU games going on right now, as we had mentioned before, and we're going to be jumping into those in a little bit. But I think first and foremost, I do want to talk about, just the level of competition that we're seeing in this region, but also the points. Very, very low, right? Like, compared to what we saw yesterday, a lot of people were like, oh, man, everyone's racking up so many eliminations, but it's clear that everyone's trying to hit the placement as well as get those points on the elims, right?
And the points are low because you have people like Mexi and Scram who already qualified in there, just bullying the top 10. You saw those games out there. They're really out here shaking up the board. And I mean, honestly, this is what we expected, right? We expected these top tier duos to slow things down. On finals day, there's so much more riding on the line because, to get to that punch and ticket, right? To get to New York City, it's too much pressure.
Yeah.
You got to take your time.
Yeah, that's right. It's been quite the road indeed for a lot of these European players. And as I mentioned before, we're going to be jumping to the games in just a little bit. We're waiting for them to start up. And once they do, we will be right in the fun. But there have been some great moments. One thing in particular that we do got to talk about has been the Shadow Bomb, because we haven't really dived into this, and we'll break this down a little bit more, but let's jump into the action, your next block of EU games. Well, let's talk about this Shadow Bomb, because this thing is really good. It's a really good utility weapon.
I know a lot of the pros kind of had the nerves on edge there whenever a new new item or something gets introduced, but you gotta give a nice little hat, right? A little hat tip to Epic and the Fortnite team, because the Flint Knock introduction has been a fantastic weapon so far. And now the Shadow Bomb, I genuinely stand behind the Shadow Bomb so far. What we've been able to see with it, three on the pickup is a little strong, because you have 3 full rotations mitigating the what could be a little bit of bad luck, right, against the Storm.
Yeah.
When you have those zone options and that mobility at your disposal, that's something that I can stand behind. That's part of the reason why I think Grappler, or Thought the Grappler, right, if it had a return, it had a small, chance to make it on the scene in the current state of the game. But the Shadow Bomb, man, look about the Shadow Bomb. Exactly, look at that. Stompy completely disregards him now, right? Don't even want to fire at him. And Stompy, come on, he's a beast, man. The dude's already, made it on through as well. So when the best players recognize that, hey, Shadow Bomb's in play, there's not much you can do, they're gone like the wind.
You have a lot of movement options now in Fortnite, right? I mean, you got the baller, obviously, but you also have the launch pad. But then at the same time, you also have the geysers if they're available to you.
Yeah, you have
The
cannonball.
Rift to go. You have a cannonball, and then you now have the Shadow Bomb. There are a lot of options to be able to move around. And that, to me, I think is like the best part about it, because even the zip line too, right? It's not the cleanest, and it's not also the most reliable, but you can use the zip line if you want to, in case you need to be able to get from one place to another in a pinch. There are just so many options to be able to move around, and Stompy and Tachinkin, 2 players that have already qualified for the Fortnite World Cup final. They're going to be in these lobbies looking to cause a ruckus for any of these players. And unfortunately, one of those players is Craze, who ends up going down. Don't worry, bud, you don't suck. You're actually a really good player because you're here at this level of competition. But here you go, Stompy, along with Tachinkin. They're going to rotate out with their ballers, as we mentioned. Another of the movement options that have become very prevalent this season in competitive Fortnite.
Yep, they sure have. So I like what they do here. They kind of find a spot on the map. They land on the trees just so that way they can recycle a little bit for loot. But hopping on over to Yarden here, who's pressuring right through the wall. I love the tracking here. You can see the player clearly through the structure, through the little brick plank there. And this is a perfect time to put the pressure out, especially when opponents behind the ramp. But in comes some stinkers. That's going to back him off just a tad bit here.
Yeah, going to force him out of that angle that he was really loving to try and be a nuisance, but doesn't really pan out. His teammate Gems as well is going to be right on the outside, just exchanging some resources. 56 builds for Yarden. And look at this. You got a lot of players scattered about, but 2 players actually just going to be right outside. No protection, no coverage on that right wall. And Yarden goes right in for it. And now this guy's trying to play defense and get that wall replaced, Yarden, but doesn't snag it in time, but will reap the benefits of that elimination, and then use a community launch pad to get on out of there and go to that safe part of the zone.
Yeah, you got to commend the teammate for knowing, like, hey, listen, you're down and you're kind of out here. So not to stick around and get on out and possibly win himself some points down the line. Best decision, that he can do in that situation. But that's why you don't leave these planks open. You don't leave these walls open. Like, players like that, Super gets a huge hit right there.
Yeah, low ground warrior play without a doubt. You never see him coming right out of the grass. And Supra restabilizes in the box. That elimination will tick in a little bit. Does get the knock onto Gems, and then there's the elimination confirmation that will grant him the 100 on health and shields, and then even more to boot. I'm sure he would have liked that elimination to come through a little later, because he ends up getting tagged. Boogie bomb onto the baller, and he's going to take the baller and just get out of dodge, because look at his HP. What was once a great situation for him has become rather dire. That was a heads-up play to just get that player out of the safe spot of the baller, cop it, bounce out of there. Much respect. But up above, you got Poulter and Trokes, who are playing that high ground control at the ultimate high.
I'm calling this the ozone layer from here on out, because they are too high in the sky. This is where you want to be right here, guys. At the highest points, we've seen it day in and day out. The only players that lose while they're on the high ground is when they do not have a teammate. So with these 2 players working together here, this is a dominant spot. Let's see how many players they can pick off from the high point here. There it is. Oh, Trox actually gets pushed down.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate, but luckily for him, we'll have the minis to bring him back up to, at the very least, 150 players down low as well. That's going to be Tick, as well as Chubb and Verox, and Tachinkin goes up. He went right up for the fight, but ends up disengaging, going right back to Stompy so that they can work together. You also hear that minigun in the distance, putting down some shots. And
that was so
gutsy.
gutsy.
Yeah, he's trying to just hold this up here, Monster, but this is not looking really good for him. And snags an elimination onto Zeke. There's another one down low.
No, that was a solid little push right there, catching him while he was distracted. Stompy has completely, disregarded the fact that they could have stood on the mid-ground. They say, you know what, we're going to go all the way to low with the limited mats. And instead of waiting until the last moment, they go a little bit early, and now they're just putting in pressure on the low ground. This is their zone to make right here.
And Stompy wants to pop that big shield potion.
It's hard.
Yeah,
hard to find a moment.
I don't know when you're going to get that moment to do so. I think right now, yeah, this is his best opportunity, and he's going to rely on Tachinkin as well as the activity up above, courtesy of Verox from Fnatic, who picked up an elimination, and that is going to leave us in a top 6 for the duos. 8 players remaining in this game. One goes down to the bottom. The challenge is Supra, who had a big play earlier on, but it did not pan out for him. And Tachinkin and Stompy are owning the low ground.
And that's right, but Trox and Pulse are still holding a strong spot. We knew that they were going to be up there for quite some time, and they have not letting it go. And there's another team that jumps down. It's Verox who goes down to the E11 duo here. Kuno goes down as well, and Chinkin is back in the game with max shield here. He's on shadow bombs, trying to get high ground. He's got 3 of them. One has already been used. In goes the heavy sniper. Pulser's in a box with him.
Oh, this is not looking good, but the traps have gone down into Chinkin. Did he get the connection on that? Yes, he does, and now it's going to be Trox. And you mentioned this before, Monster. He said the only time that you're going to lose in those situations, lose that high ground, is if you end up losing the teammate in the fight. Tachinkin and Stompy had that low ground control, and now this is a point where it is looking really good for the E11 duo. Trox is in a bad spot. He has the health, but doesn't have the shields. And if this goes sour, there you have it. I was going to say, if they decide to just go and challenge for the fight, that was basically going to be easy pickings with that epic pump. And Tachinkin and Stompy do just that. Victory royale for the E11 duo.
Absolutely unfair. Unfair. They put the pressure down. They brought it straight to them in that little valley, right? They only had one option. The option was up. When he went up in the shadow bomb, it split him up. They didn't even notice that he was on the layer already.
That was a good call on your end, man. I mean, you need numbers. You got to. I know it sounds funny, but you have to hold hands in those scenarios, and especially in a duos game. Just
the only time it's kind of okay to split up is if one is going to go with a heal off, and that still, you have to split at the very last moments. They did it a little too soon, too early. They kind of pulled the trigger too soon on that veteran duo. Honestly, you can't do that to these vets. These guys will catch you and make you pay for your mistakes. But taking a look, we're in the next game, guys. We're hopping into the middle of the action with this European region here for the Fortnite World Cup qualifiers. This is finals days. If they can make it through to the last stages.
Pressure is on for all of these players coming up after this. We're going to have the Brazil games, or also NA East, NA West. These players all waiting to queue up. European region, though, has proven to be an incredibly
It's my favorite. It's always my favorite to watch.
Yeah, the players, they bring it each and every time. So, looking at this, we got 20 duos remaining, 37 players fighting, and there's that half-in, half-out circle there. Oh, and he pops in, busts right through the wall, and illegal. Well done from him. That was very impressive. Just charged in, but clearly had the beat on that player.
That was illegal. Broke and entered into that man's box.
Breaking and entering.
Breaking and entering at its finest right there. Like Lupo says, that heavy sniper can be the key to anyone's box, anyone's door, anyone's wall.
It is
You're going to punch on through.
Crazy, man, how powerful that heavy sniper is. But, in the right hands, for some players, it's good. In the hands of these players, it becomes deadly. And over here to
Dynamite.
Phoenix.
Jeez, we haven't seen Dynamite in play in quite some time. With the introduction of the Shadow Bombs, you see more utility instead of offense. These guys are putting it all out there. Let's see how aggressive they can be. Phoenix and Dex, they do have this mid layer, so there it is. Those peaks we talk about, not running through your enemy's builds. I love the way they hold this layer and they put pressure down below. We see this more and more as players have gotten comfortable with being in these comfortable middle layers. They start to put pressure on players below them now.
I wonder if Phoenix is ever going to use that Dynamite. This is a heavily congested zone, and could actually benefit from tossing a few of those out, and especially in a structure like that, could really bust through a few of those players' safe havens, prevent them from being able to stay alive in this matchup. But 18 duos left. Only
here
two
comes the dynamic duo. Oh gosh. Boombo trade comes right in as they were trying to put down that offense. So here comes the dynamite. You talk about you want to see it. And oh boy, gets a quick peek. Dex is going to find some serious damage right there.
It's going to knock these players down potentially here and send them out. But they actually end up getting on top of the IG duo. And they have a rift to go when they need to pop it. They're going to be right in the center of this zone, which at times could be very bad because players, when they're in that center, just become magnets for the shots of enemy players.
Now the question becomes, was that little skirmish worth it? Because they wasted a fair amount of heals and stuff here. So half of their effective resource, more pressure comes down as they're putting it down on the players trying to get away from the storyline, desperately trying to run away. It's time to pop this rift to go. Do it nice and early so they don't get affected by the storm. That's a good time rift right there.
And they'll pick up the elimination as well from that straggling player.
And talk about, timing on the rifts. 4ZR just kind of missed it right there. He's going to pay 30 health till the storm there.
Now look at where this zone is going, man.
Oh, boy.
It's over a ridge and then just a terrain elevation change that is so sharp in this snow region of the map. It's not like the hills where you can slide down. These are just straight up drops from these cliffs. But for ZR now, as we go to his perspective, only going to have one elimination. His teammate Nowhere has two and has a decent amount of builds. Shadow Bomb, in case he gets knocked down, could use that Shadow Bomb to just keep himself going because you don't take fall damage from it. And he's going to be very high up. This is what I talk about. He could choose to opt to fight the players to his left and right. Instead, he's focusing below him, using the explosive damage to get players that are below him. Nice swift edits here, allow him to get just on out, and shadow bombing again to get on out of there. He has 3 effective rotations at his disposal. That's obviously one.
Hey guys, I'm gonna
look at him. He's jumping up the walls. He's
gone. Yeah,
I'm gonna stream again some Fortnite. Okay.